Smoking is a very fiddly thing, isn't it? Hello, this is the Gentleman Scholar. It's been a minute since I've talked to you. This is probably going to be a long one, so sit back and fire up a pipe or something. This has been I don't know, a very weird month, and by weird I mean kind of crappy. Hold on. Once again, Gary doesn't pack his pipe correctly. Alright, so where do I start? I'd like to get this started up before I start talking. Par for the course. Need to fill that back up. Start doing like Father John, the Parson's Progress. He does these short little puffs on the pipe to keep it going while he talks. Like, what is man, our person? So, okay, let's do the small stuff first. The small stuff surrounding the big stuff. Normal household stuff. The AC cacks out in the middle of a heat wave. Another one needs to be ordered. That's a chunk of change. About $400. Then the hot water tank blows, and it might even not even been the water tank, because it was an electrical short that wasn't heating up the water. We also have well water, so we just assumed that the well water was eating through the tank. Hubby's already gone through 3 already in this place because the well water is like freaking hydrochloric acid. So 2 callbacks for that. Cause a fair amount of stress. Then, let's see what else. Oh yeah, I had 2 trips jammed back to back. Back and forth to Boston twice. I live in Manchester, New Hampshire, so go to Boston twice. I'm coming home late from one turn that I forget where. I think it was Raleigh, Durham. Not sure, but because of weather, it sat there for another extra hour and a half. Got home late, taking the bus from Boston to Chelsea, the employee crew bus, and the bridge was up, so that's another 45 minutes. Get home, dead tired. It's about, I don't know, 2 in the morning. Have to go out the next day because no one's taking the trip that I put on the board. So, want to get to sleep. But then I'm like, oh, wait a minute. The workroom's all opened up, and Bill had obviously been working down there. And so he must have got tired, just got tired in midstream and went to bed. So I said, went upstairs. Should I check on him upstairs? He sleeps upstairs because he likes the couch better. We'll just put it that way. Should I go up and see him? All of a sudden, my phone rings, And I look and it's Elliott Hospital emergency room. Like, oh Christ, not again! Please don't let him be dead. Please don't let him be dead. Um, Bill's infirm, so if he tuckers himself out, he can fall, gets dizzy spells. And that's why I did turns. I don't like leaving him alone for more than one day at a time. Excuse me. Boy, do I need to fill that back up again. Oh, housekeeping. Whatever this pipe is, and chocolate burley flake that a man relaxes once sent me. Hi to a man relaxes. I know he's busy with his second child. Now he's raising two children, and I've never had kids, but I can imagine that must be a very steep learning curve. Hasn't, so I understand why he hasn't posted for a while. He's a very relaxing dude. Check out his videos. A man relaxes. So I get to the hospital. Bill's of course happy to see me. He's fine, but by the time I put my head down, it's like 2:30, and it's like something like 3:30. No, it's 3:30 in the morning. So then I'm up like 4 hours later, go back to work. But strangely enough, I wasn't like a zombie going back to work, and that trip went a lot better. That stuff is all flattened out right now, which is good. But about a little over a month ago, I'm on my phone, and I see my cousin Jimmy from up north in Quebec, and he's on Facebook Messenger. Gear, I need to get in touch with you. Oh God, is this you know how people get hacked on social media? I thought that's what was going on, so I just ignored it until the messages started getting more and more frantic. So he gave me his number up there. Now Marston, Quebec is a town that's over the border into Canada, obviously, and it's tucked into the kitty corner where New Hampshire sort of converge, and it's tucked in that little kitty corner right over the border there. As a matter of fact, if you travel like 20 minutes out of town of Marston, a lot of people get their gas over the line on the United States side because it's cheaper. Can blame them. Imagine everyone there does it from time to time. But anyway, I called Jimmy, and he says to me, and he's hysterical, and he can speak English, but it's broken English. And he says to me, Gary, I'm sorry to call you, but have horrible news to tell you. He says, Gary, your brother is dead. My brother Kevin. Now Kevin was 41 years old. Um, my dad's second kid with another woman, and he settled in the land of where my dad grew up. In the backwoods of Marston, Quebec. Um, it was the normal one, you know, hunting, fishing, pickups, hang out with the guys, have some beers. That's very very big up there, having beers and socializing and everything else, hunting. It's very much a country drinking culture. So I'm like, my jaw drops. And I'm like, Kevin, the more well adjusted of the two of us, he's dead. And of course, I just don't know how to process this. And Jimmy stays in touch with me, and the funeral is going to be in like 2 weeks' time, being July 12th. So, yeah, of course I'm going to go up. Now, I haven't been up there for 7 years. The last time I was up there was for Kevin's mom's funeral. And the reason why I just kind of stayed away from there is not because I don't like my family up there. It's just because it was kind of like self-exile. You know, I just felt kind of different. I don't really fit in with the folks up there. Why would they want to see me? So I just didn't feel like I had anything in common. So I just didn't go up there. My shame on me. All that thought. Kevin, God love. I'm sorry, Jimmy, God love him. Arranged all the details. You could see it in real time on the group text on Facebook. The entire family was getting together to come up with all the pictures for the slideshow and the music and everything like that. You could see it happening in real time um, over Facebook Messenger. You know, one of those group texts. So come come Friday, June the 11th, I go up there. I'm all nervous because I don't know what to expect, and staying with my aunt Colette and her aunt Colette and her husband Michel. That's Michael in French. Last last place I stayed last time I was there. Drove the 5 hours up, 5.5 hours up. Nothing's changed up there at all. On the way up, you drive up 93 North and cut through the North Country, go through Pittsfield, New Hampshire, and then you go over the line. Nothing's changed up there. So I go there. Now remember, I've been out of the loop for 7 months and I haven't 7 years, and I haven't really been keeping in touch with the people over there. So the story goes like this: Kevin took after my dad. My dad wasn't an alcoholic; he was a drunk, and I know this because he told me this over some beers. Because he says, I'm not an alcoholic because alcoholic means it implies that I want help. I don't want help. I'm happy the way I am, and God love him for that. I mean, I wish more people had that kind of honesty. My dad just liked being drunk. Okay, fair enough. So unfortunately, that's kind of Kevin kind of picked up that habit, and he'd been dating someone called Leah, and as it turns out, Kevin, according to my aunt, he was like drinking every day, party hardy, party hardy, you know, much like my dad used to do. And I asked him, so did my father? Was he like that too when he was younger? Was he out like partying and drag racing and all that stuff? And she, oh yeah, she goes, when I was younger, I remember Claude going out partying with his friends all the time. It was great. I said, okay, well, so that kind of got carried down. Now Kevin's mother, not my mother, my father married somebody else, had very similar mental problems to my own mother. So Kevin's kind of working at a disadvantage here. Um, Alcoholism on one side and mental problems on the other. So there, but for the grace of God go I. You know, I'm burdened with the same stuff. So the situation goes like this. His girlfriend Leah at the time was just basically my brother flat out stated, he goes, I'm not going to stop drinking for any woman. You know, typical attitude up there, typical male attitude. You know, I'm not going to stop. He's not going to stop partying for any woman. So she basically dumped him. You know, and said, well, you know, I'm going to take a break because I can't live like this. So he went absolutely berserk and started. The story is he started shooting out his windows with a firearm, and the police were called, and they tried to talk him down for 12 hours, and he was basically holding himself hostage. You know, don't come in here. I'll shoot myself. Or I'll start shooting you, and all this stuff. And I'm sure alcohol played a part, along with who knows what else was in his system. So the police found him unresponsive, and he got sent to the hospital. He got picked up by an ambulance where he went to the local hospital, and he never woke up. It really is that simple. And so yeah, I'm like, Kevin's the normal one. He's this guy. He had two kids. They're like, one's a teenager, one's approaching a teenage adolescence. And I was expecting him to grow up and become this old Pepe, have grandchildren of his own bouncing on his knee. But that plot list like basically took him out, and it really got me pondering about life and its capriciousness. So I drove up there on the 12th, and as funerals go, as the whole experience went, it actually went pretty well in the sense that it was a celebration of his life. Um, yeah, there were a lot of tears, obviously, and there was a huge turnout. He knew a lot of people there, had a lot of friends. The siblings from his maternal siblings there showed up also, and we were just I was up at the front of the line because I'm a brother, so you're getting up and you're shaking everybody's hand as they come in. They're saying thank you, thank you, thank you, and every now and again I'm kind of bursting out into tears, just kind of like trying to get my head around this situation. Um, but the entire time, the people who were there were saying, "Gary, why haven't you come up? We haven't seen you in an eternity," that kind of thing. And two of my uncles came over to talk to me, even though they can't really speak English. I can speak French, but it's kind of halting. If I were there for a month, I'd speak it pretty fluently. It's a the Quebecois dialect of French, and even in Quebec, there's different sub dialects. But if I were there for a month, I pretty much I'd like to think I'd sound like a native, but right now I'm just like I charge through the words, and if I can't find one word, I'll like substitute another, that kind of thing. But the outpouring of love and just pure family really touched me, and the whole time I'm saying to myself, wow, this family actually does like seeing me around. They do want to connect with me. No, not everyone, that's fair enough, because it's a rootin' tootin' shootin' type of backdrop there, which I've always been kind of uncomfortable with. Johnny Cash, country music, playing playing hockey with a frozen piece of like horse shit in the wintertime, that kind of thing. But I'm sorry that it took the death of my brother to get me up to Canada to realize that I do indeed have a family up there. And and I swear the next time I go up there, it's not going to be for a funeral. My cousin Jimmy even said that 7 years ago when I was at Jackie's funeral, Kevin's mother. So Gary, maybe you should come up and see us when there isn't a funeral happening. It's ouch, 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 ouch. So yeah, um, I felt welcome there. I felt like a family member there, and I don't know. Maybe it's a Canadian thing. I don't know, but I don't know why the hell I wouldn't. Typical, glass half empty Gary. That's me. I'd just rather not do. Travel sucks. I don't want to go up there. Because I travel for a living. But yeah, I'm I'm glad I went. And I knew I was kind of going to get a warm welcome there because when I crossed the line, the guy, the guy says, "What are you up here for?" For a funeral. And he goes, "Oh, your name's Poirier." And then he goes, "Tu parles français?" It's like, "Oui, je parle français. Pas trop bien, mais je suis capable pour maintenir une conversation si vous voulez." And so that's pretty much how I like functioned when I was up there conversing with people. And by the time I was ready to leave, I'm having coffee with my aunt and Michelle, and I was actually very happy to be there. I almost didn't want to leave, which I never would have expected in a million years. Now, bear in mind, this is the town, Marston. It's right next to the town Lac-Mégantic that got burnt down about 15 years ago. There was a train accident in nearby Nantes. A train had not had its brakes set properly, and this tanker just slowly started rolling down the hill until it ended up crossing the crossroads right into downtown Lac-Mégantic, and it flipped over and exploded, and eventually took the whole town with it. And I'm not saying this for pity or for sympathy, but it's pure fact. That's the same fire that claimed um, my cousin Michelle Jr., the son of the people I was staying with. And I mean, he was in a bar. We're talking probably, God, like maybe maybe about like 125 yards from when the whole thing flipped over and just exploded, and then eventually took the whole town with it. The whole town is rebuilt now. When I was there for Jackie's funeral 7 years ago, they'd only just started rebuilding, but now you have the downtown area. It's all rebuilt. It looks like Lego. It looks like Lego buildings, Lego IKEA type buildings, along with the other main area. Which so now it's kind of like a V town. But I didn't really have time to explore the downtown area because obviously other things were going on. But it looks like I'm just going to have to start making regular appearances up there, a couple times a year. Um, but yeah, I just went. It's been kind of a month, and I'm, I told you folks, I've been doing a lot of writing, and writing has helped quite a bit, exploring different memories and relationships and everything else. And yeah, you just never know. I mean, on paper, you'd think I'd be the one to go first, with all the mentally implode and everything like that. The whole thing was not deemed a suicide. Um, I don't think Kevin intended to take his life. Um, I think he just basically had too much to drink, and it was mixed with other stuff. And of course, he's got the police, hassling him outside. And my cousin Jimmy says he's going to do an external investigation on that local police force, because he says, if he'd just been left alone to sleep it off, he probably would have been fined. But since the police came and he was being antagonized and everything else, he probably just kept drinking and kept taking whatever he was taking. I'm almost positive there was something else involved. But so that's how that ended up. And I was there visiting his mother in the hospital back in 1983 when the kid was born. So I take that memory and stretch out all of our interactions between that time and that faithful day. And it just kind of warps your mind. It gives you a new perspective on time, um, interactions with other people, and how much you mean to them, how much they mean to you, how much they what the conversational interaction gave to each of you. That's all we are really. All of us are really stories in the end. All of us telling stories, and it's like what we take from each story in these little slivers of time when we meet up with these people, and yeah, it gets you to thinking. It's like we live very very temporal lives, very very impermanent lives, and I guess that's one of the reasons why people have children, to kind of attain some kind of mortality, or why rich people build monuments to themselves or name libraries after themselves, because they want to have some sort of their memory echo down forward through the timeline. And yeah, so yeah, this really kind of knocked my head in. So that's what's been going on for this month, along with all the other stuff in and around. I know I don't post, but from once a month anyway, so you're not used to hearing from me. But I'm always checking in on you folks to see who's there. I mean, Central Cal Piper, Dave. You're probably going to get a letter involving all this stuff. I've been writing about this in my writer's journal and through letters, like over and over and over again, processing it. Of course, Parsons Progress, whom I really, really enjoy. He's been absent for... There goes my phone. He's been absent for like 2 or 3 days. I'm sure he's okay. He does like a daily video in addition to reforming his land. He's trying to renovate some land there and restore an old stone English cottage, along with taking care of Lord Monty of the Long Mynd. The British do love their titles, their aristocratic titles. Very interesting guy to talk to. He's quite a character. Thank you again, Pipe Smoking Beekeeper, for the book. I will get to it. I've ditched my book channel just because I just wasn't getting out of it what I wanted. But that's good, because I didn't feel like trying to sum up a book for people anymore. It feels like too much like homework. And when something feels too much like homework, you just stop. So I read. I'm in the middle of something called Nick of Time. It's a boy's own adventure tale that involves nautical adventures in the 1930s and the 1820s, and it involves time travel. So what it has like a young teenage preteen boy written all over it. It's written very much in that English style. Um, so Truck and Piper Bob, check that one out. Nick of Time by Steve Bell. It's a first in a bunch of series, so I'll probably end up picking up the other ones because can never have enough books. I know I'm forgetting stuff, but I'm very glad to have the YTPC as a sort of a family. They can just check in with, and whoever wants to answer can answer. That's fine. You know, we just kind of partake of each other's time and energy as we, you know, I don't look at it as like, oh, I have to catch up with these videos, that video, these videos. So I'm just glad to be a part of the YTPC, even though it's kind of like a out in the fringes, but we need fringe people. You know what I mean? I wish I could put out a video every week, you know? But anyway, I'm going on a half an hour here. That's more than enough time. Also, I wanted to mention, but I digress. I really do enjoy his stream of consciousness thought process, talking to the camera thing. That's where all the good ideas come from. That's where the food for thought comes from. And he's just a funny guy. Very, very cool, salty sense of humor. I should have to watch more of his videos. Maybe get some tips. All right. Anyway, folks, thank you very much for tuning in. Take care of yourselves, and I'll try to be back sooner rather than later. All the best.